Hi, my name is Dan Smith. I'm a professor in the Department of Philosophy. I work on European philosophy and French philosophy in particular. So one of my main areas of interest or figures that I'm interested in is a French philosopher named Gilles Deleuze, who died in 1995. Like many philosophers, he wrote lots of books, but he also gave seminars throughout his career, and a lot of the work that came out in his books he experimented with in his lectures. In philosophy, philosophers, as I say, publish books, but you really can get behind-the-scenes look at the thinking of a philosopher when you see them in action in their seminars. So a project was undertaken a number of years ago by a Japanese student, I believe, who had recorded Deleuze's seminars for about 8 years. He handed over those tapes to the Bibliothèque Nationale de France, the National Library in France, and they archived these tapes in MP3s. And then the University of Paris 8, which is where Deleuze taught, at a certain point decided to undertake a project to transcribe all those tapes into written documents so they would be more easily accessible to scholars and researchers. And at a certain point, that's where my work came in, because late in the game we helped them transcribe a few of those lectures, but then it was our turn to translate into English the seminar lectures that Deleuze was giving. So I applied to the NEH, National Endowment for the Humanities, for a grant to undertake those translations, and then eventually got that grant in order to produce those translations, and that's where PURR came into my life. One of the reasons PURR was great for my project is that the NEH, and I was a bit naive when I started applying for these things, the NEH requires what they call a data management plan, and being a humanities person who didn't apply for these grants very often, I didn't exactly know what a data management plan was. And one of the students here in the philosophy department named Matt Kroll, who was working at PURR, mentioned to me that, oh, well, PURR is the place you want to go because they do data management. And he showed me online they had a kind of boilerplate sort of set of things to indicate what kind of data management they provide that you can include in your grant application, which was absolutely fantastic because really I was just naive about these things, and it allowed me to have a very well-conceived and well-formulated data plan in my grant application. With this Deleuze project, we have MP3s, so recordings of Deleuze's seminars. We had the transcriptions that were done at the University of Paris 8, and then the translations that we were going to produce. And so PURR just allows all of these to be available in one location, and you can download whatever one needs. And above all, it's going to be there in perpetuity, that it's a distributed network, as I understand it, and so the data will never disappear. So PURR was great initially just for providing me with a boilerplate for how to explain the data management plan we were going to use at Purdue. And then it provided the resources and personnel to help implement that data plan when we indeed finally got the grant. PURR played a big role here, and I think it's definitely in the spirit of Deleuze's work, not to be proprietary, not to make money off these kinds of things, but to make them available free and online to researchers around the world who are interested in Deleuze's work.